This morning on the news show, we're going to be talking about Luke Shaw, and it looks like he is going to be available for the game on the weekend against Luton away, which is really positive news. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Jim Radcliffe and the fact that his 25% stake in Manchester United is very close to being ratified. According to reports, it's actually been ratified by the Premier League. We're just waiting on the FA. And finally, we're also going to be talking about Rasmus Highland and interest already coming from the continent for the player for the upcoming summer transfer window. Let's get right into it. So first off, let's talk about Luke Shaw, and as we said, he is potentially going to be available for the game on the weekend. Reports coming out are suggesting that he is going to be available for training today, and he'll be fully assessed by the medical team at Carrington. The feeling is he's fine and he will play against Luton unless something is discovered during his assessment. Erik ten Hag did also say in his post-match press conference on the weekend after the Villa game that the substitution of Luke Shaw was only precautionary more than anything else. I can't underestimate or I can't understate how important Luke Shaw is to the way we want to play and the way Erik ten Hag wants to play. We seen on the weekend against Villa, now albeit for large parts of the first half, Villa were well on top of Manchester United. But when we made that change at half-time, Luke Shaw coming off and Lindelof coming on at left full, it completely unbalanced the United side. Luke Shaw is vital to the way we play, and especially up that left-hand side. I've mentioned on numerous occasions now that I think Marcus Rashford's lack of consistency this season, I think, is in no small part down to Luke Shaw not being available at left-back for the entirety of the season as well. I think they've struck up a really good partnership there together. They understand each other's game. Luke Shaw's overlapping, his support play, his crossing of the ball, creating chances is really, really good. And Manchester United are absolutely a worse team without him in it. I've said it multiple occasions. I think on his day he's one of the best left backs in the world. Again, it's about consistency with Luke Shaw. Now look, he has had a number of injuries now in the past maybe 12 months or so. Was he out last season as well, I think, for a short period of time, and obviously we know he's missed the majority of this season. Well, large parts of this season, and now he's picked up another knock. Let's hope it's not an occurring theme with Luke Shaw and that he is turning into maybe an injury-prone player, because we certainly need him. I said a couple of weeks back, I think the left-back area is probably an area we're going to have to start looking at in maybe for the next maybe a 2-year window. Obviously Luke Shaw, I think, what is he, 26, 27 now at the moment? So you're talking 2-3 years' time, he will be coming to his 30s, and I think it's probably a good idea to start maybe looking at changing or bringing in a left full that can replace him in that kind of time period. But look, like I said, he is vital to the way United are playing, and I think he's a fantastic footballer. I really do. I'm a big fan of him. Let's hope the injury is not too bad. Let's hope he's going to be available for the Luton game. Now, look, we do know that Delot has played at left back before. He is playing really well at right back as well, so it's probably another reason why I wouldn't like to see him moved across to left full. Aaron Wan-Bissaka missed a game on the weekend with an injury as well. So fullbacks at the moment are of a premium. We know Malacia is still, a ways away from returning. So we need Luke Shaw to remain fit for as much as he can between now and the end of the season. Now, let's talk about Jim Radcliffe, and reports were coming out last night suggesting that the Premier League have ratified his 25% stake in Manchester United, and all we're doing is waiting on the FA to do the same before he can officially, I suppose, take up the role and take over his stake in Manchester United. We've also heard this morning as well that Manchester United have extended the deadline for Jim Radcliffe to complete his investment in the club. Now, United did have a deadline. This is obviously coming from the Glazers and the ownership. The deadline was midnight on Tuesday, which obviously is today, and that was, I suppose, the time frame in which he had to buy the club, to transfer the funds, so on and so forth. That has been extended by a further 72 hours until Friday. So it does look like we're going to get Jim Radcliffe officially announced this week, if Manchester United are putting that kind of timeline on it. And like I said, the sooner we can do this, the better. I think we will probably see an awful lot of movement in terms of maybe appointing a football director more so than anything else. I think that's probably one of the main reasons why we haven't got an announcement on that position yet, is that we're waiting for Jim Radcliffe to actually take over the 25%. And it's exciting. Look, more than anything else, I think once the 25% stake is taken over and it's ratified, I think we'll probably get more in-depth interviews from Jim Ratcliffe and, you know, his ambitions about the club and what he wants to do and the direction he wants to go in, so on and so forth. We'll probably get answers around stadium redevelopment, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, it's been an awful long time now of no communication between the fans and the ownership, and it's you know, we've seen more communication in the past 2 or 3 months since Jim Ratcliffe, you know, won the race than we have in nearly 20 years of the Glazer ownership. So it's I'm really looking forward to it, and look, he's got a big job on his hands. He really does, and we haven't underestimated this or understated it in the past either. You know, he's got a big job on his hands. Stadium redevelopment, training ground redevelopment, players over, you know, squad overhaul. Is he going to be looking to change the manager? I hope not. But all of the sounds and all of the reports coming out have all been positive since Jim Ratcliffe has you know, been involved, and long may that continue. You know, we know the acquisition of Omar Barada is a brilliant one. Dave Brailsford obviously has high demands, and we're getting a director of football in for the first time in the club's history, which is all positive things. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Like I said before, you know, maybe the excitement is coming from the misery of 18 years of the Glazers. But I don't know, but I do think it's going to be positive. I think he's going to do the right thing. He looks like, you know, all the right decisions are being made even early on, and long may it continue because we've waited so long for this. But yeah, looking forward to it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And finally, let's talk a little bit about Rasmus Highland. Now, reports have been coming out in the past maybe 12 to 18 hours suggesting that Real Madrid are keeping eyes and keeping tabs on Rasmus Highland since he joined Manchester United. We do know, obviously, that Real Madrid are going to be in the market for a top striker in the summer. They've yet to replace Karim Benzema. And look, I mean, the most likely scenario is that it's going to be Mbappe. That's going to be the one to sign for Real Madrid as that kind of striker. Reports are suggesting that, you know, if it's not Mbappe, they're going to look at Erling Haaland, and if it's not Erling Haaland, it's going to be Rasmus Highland. It doesn't mean that their interest is going to go away. The fact that, you know, if they do go and sign an Mbappe, obviously Rasmus Highland is only 21 years of age, and Real Madrid see him, according to this report, as a future striker for their club. Look, I mean, I don't think Rasmus Highland is going anywhere in the summer. Absolutely not. He's just signed for Manchester United. He's a Manchester United player and fan. Why would he want to leave a year after he signed? I don't think Manchester United would even consider any bids for him. But again, look, I mean, if the player keeps playing the way he's playing and keeps improving, you know, obviously he's got 5 goals in 5 games now. He's got an awful long way to go, you know, and he's got to do it over a 5-season period rather than a 5-game period. But I see an awful lot of potential in Rasmus Highland, I have to say. Even when he wasn't scoring goals at the start of the season, I was really impressed with his performances. You know, his movement, getting into the right areas, snatching a little bit at chances. But when you're desperate for goals, that's always going to happen for a striker. But I think interest is going to be there for the likes of Rasmus Highland. We've heard conflicting reports suggesting, you know, a number of different clubs have been keeping tabs on Garnacho as well. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo is coming to the forefront as well. There's obviously going to be interest in him. I think it's vital for Manchester United that we keep these 3 players specifically throughout the next 10 years, hopefully, and build a team around them. You know, kind of shades of the early 2000s, when in the space of 3 years we signed Rio Ferdinand, we signed Wayne Rooney, we signed Cristiano Ronaldo. And for, you know, the next maybe 6, 7, 8 years, the team was being built around them 3 players. And I think this is the right thing to do for Manchester United as well, with the talent that we've got coming through. You know, these 3 players specifically, obviously Rasmus Highland didn't come through the academy, but Mainoo and Garnacho did. But you've got to have youth in your team. And Manchester United, historically, all the way back to Sir Matt Busby, has all been about playing the youth, giving the youth a chance to prove themselves. And these guys are certainly taking that opportunity, it has to be said. We know Rasmus Highland with his goals. Garnacho scored 2 goals last week as well. And we know the qualities that Kobe Mainoo has. So I'm all for it. Hold on to these players, build a team around them over the next 10 years and, you know, fill in the places all around them throughout the transfer window. But you never know. I mean, there's an awful lot of good young players coming through the academy. You know, certain names spring to mind. Shea Lacey, for example, is looking like he's going to be an absolute superstar as well. Again, we don't want to, put too much pressure on the kid or jump to conclusions, but there's a lot of good youth coming through that academy, and we need to keep bringing them through, giving them game time. And as one thing I've been really impressed with Ten Hag is that he hasn't shied away from actually giving these young lads game time and putting them in the mix. And I think it's a good opportunity and it's a good time for players to be coming through, because United are not at their strongest at the moment. If these players were coming through when, in 2001, for example, when the team was rock solid, would they get as much of an opportunity? Maybe not. So it's a good opportunity and it's a good time for these players, and let's hope they grasp the nettle by the or what's that saying? Whatever. Grasping nettles. But anyway, look, let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And do smash a like on the video as well. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. We will be back tonight from 8 o'clock for our news show. We'll be going into all of these topics in depth as well. So make sure you're sticking around for that as well. But thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in a bit.